Hello pre-AP Algebra 2 students, this is Mr. Alexander. As your teachers told you, I'm going to talk you through a series of 4 videos today. You're going to have 4 knowledge checks, and hopefully by the end of the day you're going to have 400% for those knowledge checks grades. The first thing I want to talk to you about today are exponent rules, or properties of exponents. Hopefully your teacher's given you this piece of paper with all of the exponent rules that you'll need to be using today. If not, pause the video, write them down, but you probably got them in front of you. And if you do, you're in good shape. So let's get right into it. All the videos today are between 5 and 8 minutes long, so we try to keep them short, so try to stay engaged. Let's start with a few of these here. So I've got z to the 0th power, z to the negative 4th power, 1 over z to the negative 3rd power. The first rule on here I want to draw your attention to is the 0 exponent rule. Anything to the 0th power equals 1. That's just that's something I remember. Anything to the 0th power equals 1. That's something you're going to want to internalize. So z to the 0th power simply equals 1. The next rule I want to draw your attention to is the negative exponent rule. Anything to the negative exponent goes into the bottom of the denominator and the negative is removed. So the way I like to think about it is if the exponent has a negative, then no matter which part of the fraction that the base currently is in, it needs to go to the other part. So on this one, we're on the top of the fraction, we need to go to the bottom. Over here, we're in the bottom of the fraction, we need to go to the top. So it's always the reverse. So that negative tells you to flip it. So what this equals is 1 over z to the 4th. See how I took it from the top of the fraction, put it on the bottom. Right now, it's in the denominator. I need to flip it and put it into the numerator. So this will be z to the 3rd power. So that's the way I always remember negative exponents, just flip them. All right, let's talk about something a little bit more complicated. Let's talk about power rules. And again, I'm just using all the rules on this sheet here, so you can refer back to it as I go if you need to. So we've got x times y times z, and all of that in parentheses to the 3rd power. Now that 3 goes to the x, the y, and the z. So when you simplify that, that's x to the 3rd times y to the 3rd times z to the 3rd. So you have that 3, the exponent goes to all 3 parts of the inside the parentheses there. Now we don't need to FOIL or do anything fancy like that because this is all multiplication. If these are plus signs, we got to do something different. But since it's multiplication, you can just distribute the 3 onto the exponent of everything inside. So this one as well. We can distribute that 6 here to this 2 and to that c. So that means I've got 2 to the 6th power times c to the 3rd to the 6th power. Now 2 to the 6th power, that's just 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, that's 64. Now here, you got c to the 3rd raised to the 6th power. When you've got a power raised to a power, you're going to multiply in there. That's one of your exponent rules. So we're going to do c to the 3 times 6. 3 times 6 is 18. So the final answer here is 64, c to the 18th power. Let's try something a little more complicated. So we're going to complicate these power rules just a little bit more. So here I've got a squared times b to the 8th squared times a times b to the 4th to the 3rd power. So it looks complicated, it's really not. We're just going to follow our rules. So that 2, the squared, goes to this 2 and this 8. So 2 times 2 is a to the 4th. 8 times 2 is b to the 16th. Now we've got that 3 goes to that 1. There's an invisible little 1 right here. And this 4. So 1 times 3, that's a to the 3rd. And then 4 times 3, that's b to the 12th. Now I can take this one step further because I can combine like terms here. I've got a to the 4th times a to the 3rd. Now here, when you've got the same base and different exponents separated by multiplication, all you're doing is adding the exponents. So we've got 4a's here, we've got 3 here. 4 plus 3 is a to the 7th. So that's adding. And then I've got 16 b's here and 12 there. 16 plus 12, then I've got 28 b's. That's how you're going to simplify these things. Let's look at another one that's kind of like that as well. So here, we've got a to the third, b to the 0 to the 5th. So I'm going to distribute that 5. 3 times 5, that's a to the 15th. 0 times 5, that's b to the 0 still, times, oh, check this out. 3 squared is 9. A squared, 1 times 2, and then negative 2 times 2 is b to the negative 4th. All right, so I've got a 9, so that's an equal sign, that's an equal sign. I've got a 9 out front, a to the 15th, so I got 15 a's, I got 2 a's, 15 plus 2 is a to the 17th. I got 0 b's there, well, b to the 0 is just 1 by the way, and I got negative 4 there. 0 minus 4 is b to the negative 4th, but I'm not quite done because remember that negative means I need to put it on the other side of the fraction, so move that b downstairs, make it b to the 4th, and on top we still got 9 a to the 17th. Alright, we're almost done here. Just a couple more things I want to show you. When you're dividing exponents, you're doing subtraction here. So I've got 10 squared, that's 100. And I actually don't need this fraction. Get rid of that. Do over 100. And so I've got a squared divided by a to the negative 3. So I'm going to subtract them. I'm going to have a to the 2 minus negative 3 times b. I'm going to subtract it again. Negative 4 minus 5. Negative 4 minus 5. All right, so I still got my 100. 2 minus negative 3, that's a plus. So 2 plus 3 is 5, a to the 5th. Negative 4 minus 5 is b to the negative 9th. But I can simplify that just one step more. I'm going to move that b downstairs. And on top of the fraction, I've got 100, a to the 5th. And on the bottom, I've got b to the 9th. All right, last one. And then I've got the challenge question for you. All right, here. 81 divided by 9 is just 9, right? So I'm going to put a 9 on the top of the fraction. And I'm going to distribute this 2 here. A to the negative 5th squared, so that's negative 5 times 2 is a to the negative 10th. B to the first power squared, that's b to the second power. And I cancel out that 9 because 81 divided, so that's a 1 down there. A, b to the 7th. Now I'm going to do some subtraction. Still got the 9. Negative 10 minus 1 is a to the negative 11th. 2 minus 7 is b to the negative 5. Then move it all downstairs, all the negatives. So we've got a 9 on top. A to the 11th. B to the 5th. And that's it. That's how you simplify that thing. All right, last one. Challenge question. What is negative 4,000 plus x to the 47th plus y to the 3,000th, all raised to the 0th power? Well, if you've been paying attention, you know that just equals 1. 1. All right. Good luck on your knowledge check.